Hi, welcome. I'm Joey Novick, and you are listening to What Exit, New Jersey What Exit. This is our first show, and I am very excited to be here today, and we've got a great panel, and I want to start off by introducing our panel, and we will get to them in a few minutes. We've got Mayor Janice Kovach from the wonderful city of Clinton, New Jersey. We've got the outstanding comedian Julia Scotti, who has been on Comedy Central, and we've got Gregory Joseph from Giggle Pit Comedy, also been a former staffer for Senator Bill Bradley. But first, I want to start off with an introduction with someone who is a newly elected assemblyman in the 16th Assembly District. Please welcome, he is with the Princeton Plasma Physics Lab, and he is going to hopefully explain to us cold fusion. No, I don't think you necessarily have to do that. The newly elected assemblyman from the 16th, and my assemblyman, proudly my assemblyman, our first Democratic assemblyman. Please welcome Assemblyman Andrew Zwicker.
Well, thank you so much, Joe.
Live audience. So, Andrew,
Thanks.
Thank you for being on our very first show here on New Jersey What Exit. So, I just want to say thank you, and I want to ask you one of the things I always wanted to ask you. How was it? So, you won your election. What is it by 75 votes? How many votes?
78.
78 votes. I'm sorry, I
Right.
underestimated the number of votes.
Exactly.
78 votes.
Every vote counts.
Can you run through for me how that felt on that night when you were waiting for the vote count? I can only imagine.
So, as you may know already, I conceded because the Associated Press actually called it for my opponent when we first started. So, you work like crazy. We knocked on 22,000 doors.
Sure.
We made 78,000 phone calls. And you get to election night, you just want it to be over.
Right.
That's all you want. Win or lose, you want it to be over. And it's getting later and later and later, and it's 25%, 25%, 25%, 25%, because there's 4 people running for 2 positions. And the Associated Press says I've lost by a couple hundred votes.
God.
So I go to Conti's Pizza in Princeton, where there's a huge crowd waiting. They're cheering, they're clapping. My wife, Barbara, is like, don't do it, don't do it. Wait till the final moment, the final moment.
A wise woman she is.
She is such a wise woman,
she
right?
is. And she's in the studio here, so very wise
I
woman.
get up there, I say, I'm sorry, we came so close, and everyone goes home. And about 11:30, 12 o'clock at night, I get a tweet from Patrick Murray, the pollster, who says that on election night, they've recounted everything. Some things were not fully in. I've won by 29 votes with 200 votes outstanding, paper provisional ballots.
Wow.
So I've got to wait 2 more weeks before I can actually find out if I've won.
And, the parallels between you and Rush Holt, you probably hear all the time, our former Congressman Rush Holt. In 2000, I remember Rush, even before that, 1998, Rush, when he beat Mike Pappas, I was there at the Nassau Inn in Princeton when they announced that Mike Pappas had won and that Rush had lost. And then 2 years later, he's in this nail-biting election with Dick Zimmer, and this happens to you.
Right.
Now, so does this only happen to people who work at the Princeton Plasma Physics Lab? Is that the issue?
It only happens to plasma physicists, politicians.
That is amazing.
Right? Because there's 2 of us,
right.
And so it must be a law of physics.
100% correlation.
That's right.
In there. So when did you actually find out that you won?
About 2 weeks later, this is a totally true story. They're counting up all the different provisional ballots. I'm getting a few more. Almost a year before the election, I had agreed to go to Savannah, Georgia, to go to the largest conference of plasma physics in the world.
And how many plasma physicists?
There were 1,500 plasma physicists all together.
And which state has the most number of plasma physicists in the country?
I have no idea. I'm going to go with New Jersey, right?
New
Because we have the highest density of everything. So it's probably the highest density of plasma physics. So I am in Savannah, Georgia, surrounded by 1,500 plasma physicists. When the final vote has been counted, there's not going to be a challenge. I get a phone call, and I've got nobody to tell. I mean, I called my wife, but I've got nobody around me to tell, and I have to present a paper on plasma physics. I had a grin from here to here, and just sort of went around trying to figure out what am I going to do now. Came home and it went from there.
Got to be. Well, congratulations. And have you hit I'm just trying to count the number of days. Have you hit 100 days in office yet?
77 today.
77 today. And what have you accomplished in your first 77 days?
So I have, first we opened our office down in Montgomery.
Which is great.
Right.
You want to give the phone number of your office?
I can give it at the end of the show.
Sure.
Right?
Okay.
Opened our office, hired staff, started casework, et cetera. I've already become a co-sponsor of 48 bills.
Wow.
So I'm trying to hit the ground running. That's what I promised I would do.
48 bills, that's a lot of bills.
So
that's a lot of law.
It's a lot. None of them have passed yet, but we're moving them through the system. A lot of things around energy efficiency, energy production, some social justice things. So I'm trying to quickly get up to speed.
And what committees are you sitting on right now?
I'm on Judiciary Committee, Telecommunications Committee, and Environment and Solid Waste, Telecommunication and Utilities.
Right. I think, because I remember I did work with Upendra Shivakuli. He was actually the chair of
He was
that
the
committee.
chair.
And who's the chair now?
Wayne D'Angelo.
Oh, so we have, and of course, the Democrats are in control. And who actually are you sitting near? Are you sitting near friendly Democrats, or do you have to sit near
Everybody's
Republicans?
friendly, Joey.
No. I'm just thinking they're all friendly,
Right.
but I'm just
But
saying
I'm on the far side. You know, your
Right.
seniority gets you more towards the middle,
Sure.
so I'm on the edge of the Democratic side.
Right. So you're on the extreme on the Democratic side,
Right.
which is great. And I guess I was going to ask the question, what are you most proud of that you have supported right now? What is, out of the 48 bills, do you have something that you really want to see?
Sure.
passed?
The equal pay bill that just passed the Assembly about 2 weeks ago or
Right.
so, was very proud to be a co-sponsor of that bill.
And when is this? When this will be posted? And when will this actually go to the governor? Do we have?
We don't know
governor-
yet.
You don't know.
We don't know.
And you think the governor will? We're going to be talking a little bit more
Right.
about Christie, but he will. I mean, you think he will sign this, or you think he will veto it?
I don't see any reason why he wouldn't sign this, but we'll find out. It's hard to say these days, right?
He's been vetoing, if he's in the state, I would imagine. And I would imagine if he's actually out of state with the Trump campaign, that Kim Guadagno would actually have the opportunity to sign
He seems to
the
come
veto.
back to sign bills when he's
It was
able
good.
to.
I was
so,
glad to see him
yeah.
come back in. I was there at a state address, and I think he did a very, very nice job, and now he's out back in the road again, which is very, very interesting, very, very interesting. And so the Wayne D'Angelo, and who are the other chairs of the other committees?
Judiciary is John McKeon.
Right.
And Environment is Grace Spencer.
And you're also on Judiciary. You said you're also on
Judiciary.
You're also on Judiciary, and which has got to be an interesting committee.
Fascinating.
Fascinating.
Fascinating. Some of your future guests are on Judiciary
Yeah, no, that's
as
what
well.
I'm saying. Is
Right.
I have coming up. I have Michael Patrick Carroll coming
Right.
on. I've got John Bramlett coming on from the Republican side. And as an attorney, I find that is very interesting. The way the governor has treated judicial appointees, and this current judicial appointee, which I know Senator Sweeney has decided that would not get a hearing.
Right. I'm the only physicist on the Judiciary Committee. I think that's fair to say.
I would imagine that's a very good thing.
Since I'm the only physicist in the legislature.
That is very, very
Right.
good thing. So, all right. Well, listen, I want to thank you. We're going to introduce the rest of our panel.
Thank you.
you, Andrew, and I want to wish, and since you're my representative, I want to wish you a great deal of success and luck in the in the Assembly. I think it's great that you are representing us, and we will talk a little bit more. So,
Thank you.
I want to get to the rest of our panel. We have got a whole bunch of stuff to talk about over here that I hope to get to for the rest of the day. And we have got, and you can just say hello as we introduce. I'm going to go around from my right to my left. We've got a very, very good friend of mine I've known for 30, 35 years. They're very, very funny and talented. She headlines all over the country. I worked with her recently at a fire company where she just was at the Surgeonsville Fire Company right here in Hunterdon County, where we raised a lot of money. Julia Scott. Julia Scott.
I've worked firehouses all over the country. That's my.
That's the claim
it.
to fame. No, she's also been
No,
on
I-
Comedy Central and
Yes,
a
I
career.
have. Thank you for having me.
Oh,
here. This is-
absolutely. I look
it's
forward
a
to it.
fabulous
We
location.
got a
here.
great table. We got a brand new table, and we have a great location and great music. And we got Gregory Joseph. Gregory is a stand-up comedian. He's on a regular basis at the Giggle Pit in Hoboken, which I think I've always loved that name, by the way.
Thank
the
you,
Giggle
thank
Pit.
you.
I think
It's Jersey City.
I'm sorry, Jersey City.
And New York City.
And
yes.
Jersey City and New York City, not to say anything bad about the people of Hoboken. I thought it was in Hoboken. Gregory also worked for Senator Bradley for
I
a
worked
while.
on Senator Bill Bradley's presidential campaign, and I did a stint on Capitol Hill. I got into comedy because there were just too many plasma physicists in New Jersey, so I had to find something else to do.
As a good choice, Andrew has purchased the franchise for New
Yeah.
Jersey. Now that Rush Holt is no longer available for that, which is really
Capitol
great.
Hill.
There's room for one more in the caucus.
There's actually room for one.
I didn't hear who said that.
I said that.
Oh, yes, I did. I worked on Capitol Hill.
Worked on Capitol Hill.
I feel very inadequate.
You can put on the headphones.
I can sit right here. I can hear
Yeah,
it.
you can put on headphones if you want. You can do that. And the other thing I wanted to ask you, so were you up in New Hampshire for Bill Bradley?
I was in New Hampshire, I was in Iowa.
Wow, okay.
I was primarily headquartered in the West Orange headquarters.
Office. I was there.
I-
I actually, and I'll speak about that later on. I actually went up to New Hampshire for Senator Bradley back in 2000, which is great.
We were flown out for the debates, so I think we had about 5 debates with the vice president.
Right.
So we were
Right.
flown out to Iowa and New Hampshire, and of course, New York City, the one we did at the Apollo.
Sure.
For the debates.
Absolutely, very, very
What,
cool.
14 years ago? Oh, wow.
Wow, that is 16 years
Yeah.
ago. I was up in New Hampshire. I had a great time up there. It was great. And of course, Andrew Zwicker, we've already introduced, and also the mayor of Clinton and the former executive director. Was that the
Just director.
Director, not the executive director. The
No, we
former,
didn't have the ED.
You didn't have the ED. The former director of the New Jersey Division of Women.
Yes.
Mayor Janice Kovach. I guess you were just reelected.
Just reelected.
And who was your opponent?
No one.
No one. Is that incredible?
How'd you
As
do?
opposed to me.
I won, surprisingly.
won, as opposed to me, who had like 11 opponents, and I lost. And great. So what are you doing now? Why should we all go to Clinton? What's happening in Clinton?
Well, there's always something going on in Clinton.
Right.
I mean, between the festivals and the museums, the restaurants, the
Right.
shops, there's always something going on.
And it's great. Anything you want to plug that's going on? And I feel like Joe Franklin guy. Anything you want to plug and tell us what's going on in Clinton this week so people can go there and shop? Anything in particular? that's
April
going on?
starts Civil War Days over at the Red Mill Museum Village.
And that's like a reenactment.
It is a reenactment with the cannons and everything.
That is incredible, because
Wow.
I know a lot of the Republicans in town want to dress up in the Confederate outfits. I know that's generally the case that they usually go into the good old days. So I want to throw in some of these topics that I emailed to you guys. Bernie Sanders, I'm just amazed at the last 5 out of 6 states he has won. I don't know what this means in New Jersey, but I figured I have to throw this out because New Jersey, the last poll, I looked up online, and the last poll, not a lot of recent polling on Bernie versus Hillary in New Jersey, but the last poll actually had Clinton ahead 55-23, but that was 6 weeks ago. So a lot of things have changed. I'm just wondering, does Bernie stand a chance in New Jersey, or do you think it's going to be Hillary?
I think
Go ahead.
I was going to say, I think he absolutely stands a chance. You can see he's picking up more and more momentum.
Right.
The more people know him, it seems to be the better he does. So, I mean, my hope is that when our primary comes around, because we're second to last, that
Yep.
we have still a chance to have our voices heard and
Right.
make a difference.
And that's not been usual in New Jersey. Usually by June 7th comes, we're pretty much voting for the candidate. So it's nice to know that our voice will be heard in New Jersey.
Except
I think, I'm sorry.
Oh, no, in 2008, we had it in February.
That's right, they moved it earlier.
We did have an opportunity to be a part
Right,
of.
they moved it earlier. I remember Rosie, my girlfriend, was actually a delegate for John Edwards. Back then, I was a Barack Obama supporter, and I remember John Edwards had actually dropped out of the primary at that point in time, and I got a chance to vote for her anyway. You know, I couldn't go in there and vote. So any other thoughts? I mean, does Bernie stand a chance? You think the state's going to go for
I
Hillary?
want to take umbrage with you.
Right.
People have to stop saying, does he stand a chance? He absolutely stands. He's as much, he's climbing in the polls. He's winning. Granted, he's winning caucus states,
Right.
But he absolutely stands. But when you say it like that, it makes
Well,
him
I'm
sound like,
I'm saying it. I actually, in all disclosure, I am a Bernie supporter. I will be going down to, hopefully, to Philadelphia as a delegate for Bernie Sanders. So I am definitely a Bernie Sanders supporter. But one of the things that I've said over and over again is I'm very glad that the Democratic Party has two outstanding candidates who are running. And on the other side of the aisle, we've got, Ted Cruz and
Ringling
Donald Trump
Brothers.
and the Ringling Brothers. So, I mean, no matter who kind of kicks in. So I guess when I say, does Bernie stand a chance, I mean,
Well, I mean, of course he stands a chance. There are only two people in the race.
So there you go.
So, I mean, yeah, he stands a chance. I mean, obviously the Clinton footprint or thumbprint extends into New Jersey, having been so identified with New York. So, I mean, I think it's a big hill for Bernie to climb.
Sure.
I mean, we've seen that Bernie doesn't really do very well in states where the Democratic vote is a lot more diverse. He's yet to pull in minority votes. He's yet to pull in Latino votes. He's still kind of lagging behind
Right.
with Union, despite what happened in Michigan. And I mean, yeah, he's on a roll. But I mean, do you really consider Alaska a state? I mean, this is a place that sent
No, he's
No, but
yeah,
if
Sarah
he
Palin,
takes-
that's right.
Palin to.
If he takes
to-
Wisconsin tomorrow, next week, do you think that's gonna change?
You know,
the
I mean,
perception.
I think that's still that same kind of Democratic vote that he has been getting throughout the entire primary season. You know, I still don't think it has that diverse vote like you see in Arizona, like you see in New York, like you'll see in New Jersey, that he's yet to appeal to.
Why do you think that is?
Because well, for one, he's obviously been from Vermont, and so has never really had that whole totality of issues
Sure.
you have to deal with. He's been an independent for a very long time, so he was kind of like the outsider looking into the Democratic Party. But I mean, how do you expect him to know about, public housing issues or, deep poverty issues being from Vermont? I mean, there's obviously so much exposure you can have
Yeah,
from that.
which actually brings up a very interesting point, I think, with regard to this, is the aspect of this particular election where you have people who essentially, I mean, you have Bernie Sanders, who has caucused with the Democrats for many years, no question about it, but he's not been a Democrat. He was never elected as a Democrat. And then you have on the other side, you've got, Donald Trump, who, of course, I mean, I wouldn't really compare Donald Trump with Bernie Sanders, but the fact is that they have been outside both of their parties' apparatus their entire career.
What party has Trump been part of? Hasn't he
No,
been
he's
every
been,
party?
Well, when I say party, I guess
Depending
everybody.
on?
Depending upon. But I mean, I guess the point is that he's been both a Democrat. I mean, he's admitted that he's given money to Hillary Clinton, for her Senate race, which is not really. I mean, it's been held against him, but it doesn't seem to be doing anything to hurt him in the Republican
Nothing
Party.
seems to be.
Nothing
hurting
does,
him.
no.
No.
He's Teflon, it just rolls right off him.
Which is
Anything-
amazing.
But I do think this, this issue with the women, how he fears strong women,
Yeah.
is starting. I mean, in the polls, he's getting clobbered over that, and I think more and more that this stuff comes out with him. You can just picture him, locking Melania in her closet until it's time to go out and show her around.
Yeah, I just.
Right.
I mean, he's crazy.
I mean, the thing is, but nothing, as Janice is saying, nothing seems to be stopping him. Even where there's close. I mean, even I think it was evangelicals in one of the states went for him. Which here's a guy who's been divorced 3-4 times. I mean, he's alleged affairs, and yet the evangelicals are all supporting him also.
Well, where was that clerk, she the clerk of what state? And
she
what
was
county?
in,
How many times
no,
was she
Arkansas,
divorced?
wasn't it?
She's an evangelical.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't, I think when you look at it, he knows how to play the media, and the media is just feeding into
Amazing.
every single thing. He knows exactly what to say. He's been a reality TV show star for so long, and that's what this entire election has become, is a reality TV show.
Yep.
Yeah.
Just watch the circus.
But I have a problem with the way the media's treating it too, that they've given him all this free time.
Absolutely.
And instead of just shutting him down and saying, no, you can't just call into the show. No, you have to come into,
Right.
They but it's all money.
It is.
You know,
Well,
it's all
and the
money.
control that he has over, whatever industries or businesses that he owns. But we've allowed him, because we're so fascinated with controversy and with this show that he
Yeah.
puts on. You just look at the shows we've got.
It's a wrestling match.
It is.
Right. I mean, it's also lots of
Jello
people-
wrestling.
Lots of people talk about this too. I mean, people are so angry. People are so disillusioned right now with the political
Yes.
process that he's tapped into something that.
He has,
you
with
know,
people that have never really engaged, because he is entertaining, and he
he's
says
pulled
what he
out
wants.
He's pulled out the worst in
and
people,
that's
right?
the
He's
thing,
appealed to
yes.
the worst in
And-
people.
and
Well,
that-
that petition to carry guns at the
Yeah.
Republican
I mean,
National
that's-
Convention,
what
now,
could go wrong
35,000
there? Yeah.
signatures.
Right.
Yeah,
Right. Well, he backtracked on
what
that.
What Janice is referring to is there is an online petition amongst the conservative Republicans to allow the right to open carry at the Quicken Loans arena during the Republican convention. Which, I mean, they have a rule that says you can't carry weapons, which seems to be a reasonable thing.
That's
I
reasonable.
don't know about you, but I think it's, carrying weapons. But now they're saying, well, what could possibly happen? If somebody breaks out with a gun, like this terrorist out there, everyone will have a gun to shoot wildly in the room. What could happen? What can ban? What
So it'll be
can happen?
like a fox hunt. They just
Yeah, what
release
can
the
happen?
terrorist into the thing. And just, get him now! There he is.
The biggest weapon in the Quicken Loans arena will be who they nominate.
Right.
So I don't care who has anything,
Very
you
true.
know, on them. I mean, look, I think Trump, I think it's going to run out. I mean, I understand what everyone's saying. Like, he said so many deplorable things, and they've yet to affect him in the poll numbers. I think it's just a matter of time. I mean, the American people are fickle, and we like things for a red-hot minute, and then sometimes it just goes by the wayside.
But what happened is, this is the same thing they were saying last
June.
Yeah,
It just might
June.
take a little longer than
know,
normal.
But he still hasn't cracked 40%.
He hasn't.
I mean, right,
you know,
that's the thing. I mean, I think there's a behind the numbers thing. I think that from a political geek standpoint, it's like the sabermetrics people in baseball. I mean, you're looking at a 300 batting average, but are you really looking at on-base percentage and all
Right,
that other
right.
stuff that
Yeah.
actually matters? Yeah, I mean, he's winning all these primaries, but he's still not cracking above 50. He's still not doing well with women. He's still not exactly pulling in the evangelicals, even though he's getting some of them. And all of these people have dropped out of this race, and none of them have coalesced behind either one of these
No,
candidates.
But the crack in the wall is, what was it, Utah, where he only got 17%?
Well, it's Utah. I mean,
I get that it's Utah, and I get that. But to me, that's a significant number.
well, that's Mitt Romney country.
Yeah,
And, I never, ever want to live in a place that's described as
I know.
Mitt
Oh,
Romney.
God,
It's
no.
around the country.
They would
But
kill me.
so-
Take me out and
but-
hang me.
So bringing this back home, bringing this back to New Jersey, because certainly Trump has a lot of contacts in New Jersey, but bringing
I
this
could think
back-
of one big one.
One big one, right. Well, that's what I wanted to bring up, is Chris Christie, 4 years ago, was the darling. I mean, he could have had the nomination just for the asking. He decides to, keep his powder dry. And he comes into this, even damaged by Bridgegate, damaged by other events, but he expected still the tell it like it is, just didn't, it didn't work at all. And now he comes out and he endorses Donald Trump. And I loved the sketch on Saturday Night Live that had him behind, where he's like, yes, sir,
Yeah,
very, very, very frightened. And it was almost as if Donald Trump stole his trademark yelling. It's like, hey, you can't do that. I'm the guy who yells at people. And so where is Christie in this? Do you think Christie's in this just for the VP spot, the AG spot? What do you think?
Oh, I don't think he's in it for the VP spot. I possibly the AG spot, but I think that Trump is using him just long enough for the primaries, and then you'll never see him again.
Sure, that's possible.
I think Trump would be, well, I don't want to say an idiot, but he'd be an idiot not to have him in the cabinet.
Right.
I mean, there is someone who's got, NGA experience, so he's got the governors, he's got a proven fundraising, apparatus. He is, unfortunately, qualified to be Attorney General. He won't do a good job,
No,
but he
no.
definitely, he's more qualified to be Attorney General than Whitman was qualified to be Administrator of the EPA.
Right.
So, I mean, I don't think he will be Vice President, because I just don't think he does anything from a ticket perspective that helps Trump in a national election.
What
No,
about
I-
the Supreme Court? Do you think he's holding out for that?
Well, I mean, I don't think, Christie on the Supreme Court, tips the scales.
Uh-oh, there you go. Okay. All right. There you go. And I have to ask where. I was hoping we didn't go there, but I guess the
Insert
weight.
your joke
I guess
there.
the weight of the moment had to. I'm sorry, but I want to
Crushed
find,
under the force.
I want to find out. So Chris Christie. This kind of leads into where we go. So Chris Christie is no longer running to be commander in chief, but recently, I guess this week, somebody actually bought Christie's gym shorts in a online auction for $380.
Unused.
It's unused. So I was thinking that instead of being commander in chief, that Chris Christie now has to go commando. So that's sorry, I had to throw that in. I know that's thought that we can't, but this is where his governorship is going now. I mean, it's just that, funny,
Yes.
awful.
Yeah. That's where his governorship is going. What do you think the postage was on those shorts? How much do you think?
I don't know what the.
Had to be
I have no idea.
hundreds of dollars to ship those shorts.
And I'm going to allow Andrew not to say anything about this. I would imagine you may want to have the governor sign one of your bills or, kind of continuing on. Getting on to one of the other topics that I had thrown out there. I guess I want to take a poll here. So any of you guys want to share between the Bernie Sanders and Hillary who you are supporting? I mean, I know I'm a Bernie guy. Julia?
I'm about 80% to Bernie, but I still haven't made up my mind.
Right. I'm a Democrat. I will support everyone's right now. I'm a strong Bernie guy.
I'm not voting for Bernie. That I know.
Okay. And you were a New York resident, though,
I am
right?
a New Yorker.
Resident. So,
I vote in New York. So I will not be voting for Bernie. And it's not because I don't like him.
Right.
It's because, and I'm a little younger than a few of the people here, but I've spent literally my entire life working for people like Bernie, and I'm sick of seeing them lose.
Okay, there you
so
go, okay.
Bernie's a candidate that, I don't think he's going to say anything. If you're a Democrat, it's going to turn you off. He's talking truth to power. He's bringing
Sure.
he's bringing the message that the outsiders here. But I've been there. I've been there with Harvey Gantt. I've been there with Bill Bradley. So, I've been down this road. It's a very disappointing road once you get down to the very
I
end.
remember, I'm actually one of the few people at the table who remembers who Harvey Gantt
Yeah.
is. The former mayor of Charlotte who ran against
Jesse Helms.
Jesse
Twice,
Helms.
yeah.
Very racist campaign, I remember.
I'm glad that Bernie's in this race. I think the issues that he's bringing up are important. And I do think that, obviously the young people getting involved in the political season is always great.
Sure.
I just believe that Hillary's the best well-rounded and most qualified candidate to actually be the president of the United States. If Bernie was running for public advocate of America, I'd vote for him.
There you go. And we will be back. We do have to take a break, and we will be back with the second half of our show in about another 2 or 3 minutes. We'll be back. Thank you. You're listening to New Jersey What Exit on WPANJradio.com.
Hi, I'm Vinny Veterosa, and I approve this message.
Vinny is such a pussycat, and incidentally, if you've never had a massage by Vinny Veterosa, you must do it. You will be grateful to me for having suggested it, for him for having done it, and for yourself for having the wisdom to accept the advice.
Half Table Will Travel with Vinny Verderosa.
He's got magic thumbs. The man has magic thumbs. He really does.
He really does.
Right now, 3 one-hour sessions for the price of 2, which include general massage, reflexology, and acupressure. Check me out. See for yourself why people feel so good when their session is done. On Facebook, Acupressure Half Table Will Travel. On the web, relaxintoreiki.com/partners. My telephone number is 732-259-3129. And you can get me here anytime on PANJradio.com.
PANJ Radio serves Mercer, Bucks, and Hunterdon counties and the world, and we want to serve your business on our airways. Commercial rates start at just $50 for a 30-second spot on your favorite PA&J show. We run your ad not just once, but up to 7 times in a 1-week period. That's a lot of bang for your buck online. We will track the number of listeners your commercial gets, so you can measure how many new customers you get from airing it with us. For more information, please contact Rob at panjradio.com or call 609-460-4550. We can't wait to bring your company new local business on PA&J Radio.
Are you having fun running your business marketing? Or does online marketing and social media overwhelm you? Would you like to use Facebook, Twitter, Pinterest, Instagram, Snapchat, or LinkedIn, to name just a few online social marketing opportunities to market your business successfully? Amplify Your Voice can help. We work exclusively with local businesses in the PA&J radio target area of Hunterdon, Mercer, and Bucks counties, offering social media workshops, one-on-one coaching, managed services, direct online marketing, and web design. Contact us today at 973-615-5287 or email us at radio@ampyourvoice.com for a free no-obligation review of your online marketing. You can also visit us at www.ampyourvoice.com. Amplify your voice in a crowded market. Together, we will put the fun back in your business marketing.
Hello and welcome back to. Welcome back. We're back for the second half of New Jersey What Exit. I am your host, Joey Novick, and we are on again with comedian Julia Scotti, comedian Gregory Josephs, Assemblyman,
Like Cher.
Assemblyman Andrew Zwicker, and Mayor Janice Kovac of Clinton. But so when we last left, we were listening. Gregory gave us a great rundown of Bernie. I think that was actually very, very accurate, which is what a lot of people think. I'm just wondering if Andrew and Janice, do you lean towards Hillary or Bernie in either way?
I genuinely have been going back and forth. I
Right.
love Bernie's vision. I love where he wants to take the country. I think Hillary is one of the most qualified people, nothing to do with her gender, qualified people that's ever run for president. I think either of them make an outstanding president. So we fight about this at the kitchen table, back and forth. So I haven't made up my mind yet.
Oh, yeah. And Janice, I know strong Hillary.
Strong Hillary,
Strong
absolutely.
Hillary person.
I mean, if you put just the skill set down on paper, she wins hands down amongst everyone. There's just nothing. I think too many times we look at the fact that she is a woman.
Yeah, I think, one of the things that I would really be proud of, and this is one of the reasons why the Democratic Party is representational of where my politics are, is, if you look at the last two Republican presidents, if Hillary certainly being the first female president would be historic, Barack Obama, the first African-American president, really did make a difference. And I think she certainly has the skill set to step on day one and be the president of the United States. I have to really say that, no question about it. I had the opportunity of going down on a bus as a Bernie guy and knocking on doors in South Carolina, Florence, South Carolina. And we met a lot of the Hillary people. I mean, we're going back and forth, but I kept on reminding the young people, because there were a lot of people who were 19, 20, 21, who are knocking on doors for Bernie, is that we are all Democrats, and we really have to look at who is on the other side. Who is on the other side is dangerous. Who is on the other side doesn't believe in global warming. They don't believe in women's right to choose. They believe in the most just draconian response to the immigration problems. I mean, that's what we're talking about on the other side. And on our side, we have people who are separated by, I mean, you could barely let in the light that's in the difference between positions on some of these aspects. How do you think Bill Clinton, one of the most successful presidents in my lifetime, I mean, certainly, outstanding president, how does he figure into this? I mean, he would be would he be the first gentleman? Be the first gentleman, would that be it? Then he can go to gentlemen's clubs I'm sorry, I had to work in that joke just because, and no one thought that was funny either, which is fine too. And so you guys, let me move on. I'll move on to another.
Well, wait,
what did you want?
on?
Go, no, what
I thought
did
you were going somewhere.
No, I was
And then
asking
you stopped
Bill
abruptly,
Clinton.
like a Donald Trump
Where is,
sentence.
it's huge. Where does Bill Clinton fit into all of this, you think?
Maybe it's just me, but it seems like he's been sort of laying low lately.
Yep, I think so.
And I think they floated him out as a test bubble maybe about a month ago, and I don't know that the response was what the camp expected.
Right. He gave this speech where he was very critical of Barack Obama, which I think was unnecessary.
And she's been obviously coming out,
Right.
riding on his coattails too.
I mean, I think he's had a very successful presidency. I know that Republicans think that's
I just
not
wish
the
he'd
case.
run again.
I mean, I don't see him playing. I mean, I think if she wins the primary, you roll him out in black churches in the South and urban areas to churn out the vote. But I mean, I think every time he pops up as her attack dog, it actually hurts her.
I think so too.
Because he overshadows her, or because?
Well, I just think that Bill Clinton is the last person who should be throwing stones at somebody else, regardless of who the person is.
Right.
And obviously, as an advocate for the First Lady or Secretary Clinton, it's a little biased because he's married to her. So as a surrogate for her and for her policies, it's not as genuine as, say, the mayor comes out and talks as a chief executive of a town.
And the only thing I have to say in response to that, I was on the floor of the Democratic National Convention in Charlotte in 2012 when he came out and spoke. I will tell you, this is a guy who can hold a room like no other. I mean, when you put him in front of...
But he's not the one running. She's the one running.
And this isn't 2012.
No.
Right.
It's a different.
It is, and it's got to be about her. I mean, too many times we keep pulling him back into this. He's already been president. He's done and over with.
Right. And I think that may be both an advantage and a disadvantage to her being married to Bill, because I think when he does come out now, it hurts her sometimes. And I think once she is the candidate, if she is the candidate running, I'm just wondering what place he will take in the campaign, because you've got somebody who is such a powerful speaker, but as you say, it is her.
Right.
I mean, it is her.
I think the president's going to be doing more stumping for her than Bill.
Brock, okay,
Yeah.
sure.
I think so as well.
Yeah, I think he'll be raising a lot of money in
Which is what he
mansions
does
in the
well.
Hamptons and
Yes.
in Hollywood, and we keep a short leash on him. I mean, because in 2008, he said a lot of things during the primary that people were turned off about Obama, and it was very unlikely of Bill Clinton to be turned off by the Democratic electorate, but it happened, and he was going after Obama on some race things, and it backfired.
Nope, I think it absolutely did backfire, and I would hate to see that happen in a general, especially if it's going to be somebody like a Trump or a Cruz. Any floating, if Bernie or if Hillary is the candidate, any prospects in who you think the VP spot might go to? I know they're kind of catching, and I've heard Senator Cory Booker's name mentioned. I've heard a few
like
others.
him.
Cory was also named for Supreme Court.
Right.
I think he's doing a great job floating his name out there.
I keep hearing Elizabeth Warren, but she's never going to. We need her in the
won't.
Senate.
Yeah.
We do need her in the Senate.
I've heard.
I say bring back Biden. I don't think there's any reason why you just don't go double Joe. Back-to-back Joe sounds good to me.
Uncle Joe, yeah.
Yeah, he is clearly qualified. He knows, he's already moved into the Naval Observatory. So
Has that ever
clear out the
happened?
place.
You think he
ever-
would do that? Can he do that?
I guess.
Well, he can,
can.
he can do it. Constitutionally, he's allowed to serve as vice president as long as he can take it.
But she needs to
I think she
establish
needs
her
to
own
do.
her own vice presidency.
Well, yeah,
her own-
I don't
right,
think,
her own
but
presidency.
I've heard Juan Castro's name.
Yeah, I've heard him too.
I've
Yeah.
actually, I had an opportunity of meeting Juan Castro at a Democratic convention here in New Jersey. I guess 2 years ago, he was a speaker there, and it was very interesting. Very vibrant, younger guy. I mean, I guess the idea is to appeal to a Latino vote, which I don't think Hillary or Bernie will have trouble appealing to. I mean, even if the candidate is Ted Cruz. So.
You sure it was Juan and not his twin brother?
No, well, Julian Castro it was definitely Juan Castro.
Is Juan was the mayor of San Antonio?
San Antonio,
Okay.
right.
He's a little young to be
Right.
a vice president. I mean,
I don't know how old.
Well, so was Rubio, right?
I mean,
he's
he's probably younger than Rubio.
You got to be what, 40?
You got to be 35.
You have to be
right?
35 to be the.
But I mean, he's been mayor of San Antonio. He's never had a national issues, perspective. So, I mean, in the world that we live in right now, I think we need a little bit more in the VP office than the mayor of San Antonio.
Yeah, I think that would be an interesting issue if it was somebody like Trump Kasich, if it was, if it happened to be somebody like Trump Rubio. I don't know who his VP would be. But
What
it would be interesting.
what about Ed Rendell?
Oh,
Wow, I
Governor
never thought of
Rendell.
that.
I never thought about him.
Nice
Certainly.
not Midwestern, but
No,
Midwestern state,
but-
with some blue collar,
but
very battleground state, and obviously.
Democrats need Pennsylvania, no question about it. I didn't think of Ed Rendell. But
Yeah, how old
certainly-
is he, though?
But see, that would be
gotta be
the
up there,
thing
right?
is she will be 69.
They're
he's
probably
in
the
his 60s.
same age,
Yeah.
roughly, right?
But you don't think that she needs to geographically go after something farther west than Pennsylvania?
Well, Pennsylvania's big. I mean, I can't see what further west.
Michael Nutter?
Would she win? Like Colorado? I mean, because Colorado's pretty the only state out there outside of Illinois that.
You don't think she'll win California?
No, yeah, but that's.
Oh, she'll win
Yeah, you don't need to choose a VP from California. She'll win just showing up.
But I would also be concerned. There are several different criteria upon which a president I've seen over the years chooses a VP. One is somebody who complements them policy-wise. That's what Clinton did with Al Gore. They wanted somebody who reflected. Then you want somebody who will supposedly give a very big impact. Like that was the supposed choice of Sarah Palin, a new face. That didn't work out so well.
And then there's someone to do the job,
right?
which is
And
what
then
Cheney
someone,
was.
and then some,
Yeah.
exactly. And then sometimes there's a balance. If you were a little bit conservative, you want somebody a little bit liberal, and maybe somebody that supposedly will bring in a state. So I don't think that Juan Castro will help her in Texas at all. I can't imagine that helping her. But does it help her with Latino voters? I think it doesn't.
I think with the other side building fences across the border,
Right.
I think I think we already have a Latino candidate on the
I
ticket.
agree.
But it's
I
interesting
agree
that
there.
we're all presuming it's going to be a guy.
No, that's right. It could be.
Heaven forbid it was another woman. Could you
Imagine-
imagine?
You know,
Imagine.
like a Debbie Wasserman Schultz.
No, that would
No,
never
it
happen.
wouldn't happen.
I mean, I don't think, Debbie Wasserman Schultz is doing a very, very important job in the House, raising money and validating candidates and setting the policy framework for Democrats to regain the majority. I think she's very important to stick in the House.
Like Elizabeth Warren.
The vice president, after winning the election, you don't really don't do much. And why would you take Debbie Wasserman Schultz out of a job that she's actually doing a good job
That's a
doing?
good point.
And also, I don't think Deborah Wasserman Schultz helps her in Florida at all.
No,
I think
she's
that,
going to win Palm Beach County.
Yeah.
So
So we'll kind of see.
But could it be another woman?
No,
I guess that's the question.
I think it could be another woman. I think one of the problems in the Democratic Party, though, is where the Republicans have some significant women. You've got South Carolina. You've got Susan Martinez in New Mexico. You've got, I'm trying to remember the other.
Nikki
Haley?
Nikki Haley is in South Carolina. You've got some significant women in states that Republicans need, New Mexico, South Carolina. But it seems that, I can't put my finger on a governor, and this is where I think we have maybe only 17 or 18 governors.
Jean Shaheen,
With
who's
Jean
in the Senate
Shaheen,
now, and she
right.
would be a very interesting candidate
Oops,
for
sorry.
Hillary.
She could be another, but I would think that it would be, as much as you probably would like to see another woman on the ticket, I would imagine that it will be a younger male to balance off. Again, just my prediction. I think that's what you will see.
Oh, yeah,
on the ticket.
unfortunately, I think you're right.
Yeah.
But the fact that we don't consider it
Right. No, but it should be.
Well,
I mean,
everyone
no-
gets shocked when you say that.
Oh, my
What do you mean
God.
2 women?
Yeah, oh my God, two
Same thing when
women.
we had the gubernatorial in
Oh, my God,
2013.
it
You had
was-
2 women on the ticket, and it was.
And Barbara Buono, you know what? Barbara Buono turned out to be such a bright, articulate, forward-thinking person running for governor, certainly against Chris
Why do
Christie.
you sound surprised?
No,
I was
but-
just
but
gonna
the thing
say
is-
that.
But she turned,
It's
oh
like,
my God.
if you're part of this, it's like what they used to say about
I,
African Americans. I'm so surprised.
He was so good.
He was
No,
so
but
articulate.
The thing that I'm saying, let me backtrack.
You better.
I like, no.
We're on either side of you here. You're going to be.
Oh, my God.
And I have water I could throw it at
Kick
you.
back and watch.
The reason I'm saying this is because Christie has turned out to be so bad, and the Democrats in and of themselves were so non-supportive of her. I mean, I think Democrats did not really come out and support her as much
We
as
talk
they
the talk,
should
but we
have.
don't walk the walk.
Exactly.
We're horrible. The Republicans do a better job in New Jersey
do.
in getting women elected and engaged than the Democrats do.
And you would think that it should be the Democrats, with the Democrats owning these issues. and
Absolutely.
having the right side of all of these issues.
But who
across
runs the
board.
parties?
It's
you go.
males who run the parties. Males, I mean, when I was the county chair of the Hunterdon County Democratic Party for 4 years, and I can tell you, during the time that I was there was only one woman who sat as the chair of any party, and that was Union County.
Charlotte
You know,
Del Filippo.
Charlotte DiFilippo was the only woman who was the chair of any county party.
Right.
for the
What do
4
we
years
have,
I was there.
5 maybe in the
Yeah,
state right now?
right.
My
I'm
district
sure-
has 3 of them, right? Mercer, Middlesex,
Yeah.
Mercer, Hunterdon, and Somerset.
Right.
Are
Now,
all on
who's
Tuesday.
the chair of Mercer right now? Is it still?
Liz Moyle.
It's still, she's in the assembly, and she's still, so, I mean, I think that is something that I think the Democratic Party really does need to clean up nationally and clean up in New Jersey, because we have some outstanding women leaders. I mean, again, you've run for assembly and Congress yourself, very, very articulate on issues, tough districts to run in.
Right.
No question about it, but you were always right on the issues, running against Leonard, running for assembly years ago. Great job, very articulate, but it's a tough district to run
that
in.
word again.
You know, what?
It's the district.
No.
Nothing about to do with the fact that the party didn't really want to get involved.
Sure, you know, but I mean, so, all right, it's, speaking of,
I'd fist bump you, but the table's too big. I don't want to fist
give it
bump
to
you.
her. I'll give it to you.
Fist bump her.
Hey, it's my first show. Leave me alone. I'm doing the best I
You
can.
sexist.
Jerry Lewis is here. But, you know, who is coming? Talking about women coming to New Jersey, Heidi Cruz is coming to New Jersey
Canceled.
this week.
She did?
Canceled?
It canceled. It's like 2 hours ago. It was canceled.
Because of this show?
Maybe.
We're on for 45 minutes, and we've
Well,
already...
they've heard you talk about women.
There.
Oh.
Thank you very much.
And she's very articulate. I'm
Why
surprised
I
she
didn't
can
hear
form
that
a
she-
sentence.
I didn't hear that she canceled. What happened?
I don't know. They said, I thought the article, because when I was looking it up, it said something about the fact that they're focusing on Wisconsin right
Pennsylvania,
now.
too. Oh,
Pennsylvania.
okay.
And that as it gets closer to the June primary, she'll be here.
Okay. 'cause
So
I
it's just
thought you-
postponed. I shouldn't say canceled.
Oh, okay.
And yeah, that is so interesting.
And that's a lot of nerve, I think, for the Cruz campaign to send anyone from the Cruz campaign into New
Right.
Jersey. I mean, he has been very critical of New York and New Jersey throughout this whole campaign season.
I agree.
And he doesn't quite understand the connection, I guess, between New York
He
and New
doesn't,
Jersey.
but does she make a better advocate for him here?
No, because your husband's been in here saying that we're stupid and we don't know how to police and we're dumb and I don't care if you bring your wife in here, it doesn't make it any better.
I'm not
Like
saying
the
it's better, but
Goldman Sachs connection, is that what you're alluding to?
exactly.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
the
Yeah, I
fact that
was-
she's got the connections. You know, she is a managing director.
I can't believe that Trump hasn't elaborated on it, or really dug into that.
Well, I know.
But then again, he can't stay focused long enough to.
Well,
Right.
she'd actually have to do something.
What was it? The Cruz campaign sent out like these partially nude photos of
The super PAC.
Trump's wife, the super PAC. Not
Well, they
Trump
were
himself.
nude. I guess they were nude photos of her modeling.
Back when
They
I
were
was
in
a
they were in
Yeah.
a magazine, though, yes?
Yeah, I think
Okay.
so.
Which is astounding that they actually went. I mean, this is where it's gotten to the level on the Republican side.
we were
Well, Dolly
talking-
Madison posed in the news. They were etching, so they really were.
With-
Well, they were
From-
talking about penis size in one
Right.
of the last debates, so I think we might be getting better now that we're.
Actually, we're moving up.
Look, this has been the worst display of politics that I've seen in my lifetime.
Mine too.
We listen to the Republican debates, and the only time they talk about women's issues and when they talk about eliminating Planned Parenthood.
Right.
The only time they talk about minority issues is when they sit there and say bad things about Black Lives Matter. They talk about building walls, they talk about carpet bombing people, they talk about bringing phantom jobs back. I don't know where he plans to bring them back from, but they're going to be great jobs, whatever. He can't even create great jobs in New Jersey and New York, so he's going to create great jobs
And
across
yet,
the country.
Kasich, if I were a Republican, I would be spending all my days just campaigning for him. He's the only sane one out.
But
he's not-
How scary
he
is
looks
that?
sane
Right.
compared
He's
to
not
a
sane.
bunch of
Right.
raving, stark, mad lunatics.
But that's my point also. He's solidly pro-life.
Right.
Anti-union.
He's anti-union in his
He'd be
state.
far
He
right
is-
in a
He is
normal-
absolutely, he's the guy you would think would be the normal candidate.
Right,
on their
that's my
side.
point,
Right.
yeah.
And yet he holds all the same positions. He is alluded to thinking that maybe global warming might be caused by humans at certain points in time. So that is one of the only issues.
Somebody ought to take Mitch McConnell out and stuff him into a dumpster head
Oh, my
first,
God.
because he's responsible for all of this.
I know. It's just
and
it's,
him and Boehner.
It's absolutely awful where the things have been pushed on that side of the aisle. And when I think about, now again, I don't agree with the Republicans on any issues whatsoever, but when you think about a once great party that had people in leadership like, when I'm thinking, like Dwight Eisenhower, even Ronald Reagan, who I don't agree with at all, was a guy who spoke very positively about everything. And now we've gotten down to the people like, just awful individuals that we're left Trump.
Right,
and Cruz.
America is no longer a great nation, which is what Marco Rubio said repeatedly. Let's make America great again. I don't understand how you can be a billionaire and think America's not great.
Yeah,
Well, it's great for him.
very good point. He's making money hand over fist in America, and yet America's
The
not
fact
doing
that Donald Trump is running for president pretty underscores America's
Yeah,
great.
sure.
Right?
And
This
is
would-
in the top of the
right,
polls.
this wouldn't happen anywhere else.
No,
It
No,
is scary to me to think that and I think you hit the nail on the head before, Janice, when he has made this into a reality show extraordinarily. He has really do that. I'm
Right.
sorry.
I was going to say, we should be having real discussions over the size of government, the role of
Right.
government.
But he has
real-
no positions.
No,
Right.
no, not him. I'm saying,
Yeah.
but there are legitimate questions, debates, and they're gone now. They're gone because what we've
Right.
turned it into is this freak show, and it does a disservice to everybody.
Right,
Right? We're laughing. As a country,
Right.
the rest of the world looks at us and laughs.
But the proof
we-
of that, well, it would be too late by the time proof
Right.
of that.
And as
Right.
Democrats, we get to go, well, at least our candidates are better, but I look at this as just saying, as our country, the short-term harm is just so scary to me, with an unknown long-term effect.
Agreed. I totally agree.
The scary thing for me is when I look at Trump, who's been such a chameleon in changing the way he runs his campaign and changes and attacks. I'm thinking about a debate between, if you watch the debates between Hillary and Bernie, I was so proud of the dialogue between these two people.
It was excellent,
It
yeah.
was about the issues, and I hope that, but, I will tell you, when I went door to door, and we went, because South Carolina was an open primary, so we knocked on doors of both parties, trying to get people to support Bernie Sanders. There are people there who had Trump. It is scary. Not that I don't know whether Democrats even have a shot in a place like South Carolina, but it was scary the reasons why they are supporting Donald Trump. Just appealing to their fears,
Right.
appealing to that there's going to be Hispanics running across the country, that there's going to be terrorists everywhere. This is really a very, very frightening campaign.
And we're not getting the dialogue, like you said, that we deserve.
Right.
Clearly there are things in this country that need to be addressed, and that's what a presidential campaign is for, to have a dialogue, and we're not getting those issues spoken about with a seriousness and a veracity that we deserve.
Right, sure.
But
And we're the
dialogues
ones-
don't get ratings. It's all
Right,
about the
of course,
TV
yeah,
ratings.
no,
You've
right,
got a
exactly.
24/7 news cycle, and you've got how many different, none of the news programs actually report the news. They have their skew on it. You have to watch everything to try
Right.
and figure out what's really going on.
And when Trump actually stepped away from the debate, he had his own 1-hour special to
Right.
raise money for wounded warriors. For a time, not the entire thing, but for a time, his special actually got higher ratings
Right.
than the debates for like the first 15 minutes. So he commanded the airwaves.
Well,
Right.
the news organizations are just as much to blame to what's going on
They're
here.
totally to blame.
Yeah, because
oh,
they're
absolutely.
focused on the bottom line. So that's why he
Right.
gets called. I mean, if you ever watch CNN and they have a countdown to the all eyes turn to Wisconsin. Seriously, all eyes?
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
right.
also, Trump's the best thing that ever happened to Megyn Kelly's career.
I mean, but
Because it is.
Absolutely
really,
true.
Huh? Yeah.
I would
She stood
argue
up to
something
him.
a little bit differently, which is that the cable shows, the network shows, I mean, they do it for the ratings, no doubt about it. But we, as the American
Consumers.
people, consumers, we watch it,
Right.
right? And so there's a bit, in my opinion, of a chicken and an egg of the dumbing down of our entire
But look
society.
at the programs that are out there and what our kids are watching. I mean, you got the Real Housewives of every freaking county
Yep.
and state. You've got Jersey Shore, which none of them were from Jersey.
No.
You know, that's the stuff that people love because it's all about drama. It's all about, who's fighting. But it's the same conversations over and over and
and
over
it's
again.
superficial. You don't
It
have
is.
to think about
You
it. It's
don't.
just like
No.
people complaining and yelling at each other, like the Republican primary.
If I were to play devil's advocate, two things that bring people who have never voted before into the mix. Donald Trump brings people who have never been involved in politics before
Right.
into the mix. Very unpredictable, very difficult. I mean, you ran a campaign, I ran Upinder Shivakula's campaign. Very difficult to predict what those people will do. Will they come to the poll? Will they vote? How easily can they be persuaded? And, it's kind of like the Tea Party in a way, because these were people who feel very disenfranchised on a few issues, and now they've really upset the apple cart for everybody else. I mean, and that's scary to most political professionals because you can't predict what they will do.
Donald Trump, I think he has limited appeal to Democrats.
Yep.
In a general election. I mean,
Sure.
I do think if he came out with a policy that said he was going to build a wall around like Ted Cruz, then maybe
I
Democrats
agree with you there. I
would
think
come
that
into
would
the
be a good
fold.
idea.
But
One of the things that I have to say that I've absolutely loved watching and become renewed interest is Saturday Night Live has completely nailed all of these folks. I mean, I've loved watching Daryl Hammond. I mean, we've worked with Daryl Hammond in comedy clubs,
Yeah.
bringing
Oh, yeah.
him back to play Donald Trump. Phenomenal. What's her name? Who's Kate McKinnon?
Kate McKinnon.
Kate
Oh, my
McKinnon.
God, she's so good.
Playing Hillary Clinton.
She's very articulate.
Very, does a great job.
Ah, nice one. Why didn't
Does
we
a great
think of
job.
that? We're comedians.
Great. I'm getting heckled by the assemblyman. This is great. This is fantastic.
good days to be a comic.
I
And
couldn't let the two of them do it. by the way.
Absolutely.
We have got. I was just given the 2-minute signal, so I just want to, kind of wrap up. I first of all want to thank you all for coming out here today, and I give them a big, nice applause. Great first show. I'm going to give you an opportunity to kind of wrap up with any final thoughts. Janice, whatever you want to plug in Clinton and tell us what you're doing now, go ahead.
Sure. So, the town, like I said, it's a wonderful community that everyone loves to come visit. We've got Civil War Days coming up. The Art Museum will have its Ham It Up right after that, and it's Flag Day, and every week there's and Music on Main Street starts Fridays.
Absolutely beautiful, beautiful town between the Red Mill, and we always love to go to, I give a nice shout out to City Spot Coffee,
Absolutely.
which we go to. Andrew?
I just want to say thank you, first of all, it's been a pleasure to be
My
a part
privilege.
of this. So if people who live in the 16th District want to reach me, I have an office at 23 Orchard Road in Skillman. My telephone number is 609-454-3147. If there's things we can do to help you, that's why I'm here.
Very important. And Gregory, very quickly?
you can catch me at Gotham Comedy Club Friday night, April 1st.
Excellent. Julia?
I have a
register
head
to vote.
cold.
She has a head cold. And I want to thank you. This is Joey Novick, and next week we will be on again at 7 p.m. Played all week. I want to thank you. You guys have been absolutely great. And I want to thank to our studio audience. If anybody would like to... If you wish to be in our studio audience for next week's show, if you go to Eventbrite and you search for New Jersey What Exit, pop up and gives you all the information. Thank you very much, and see you guys next week. Thanks. Bye-bye.